Come sit on the cosmic couch where we have lots of fun. So much to hear and say, nothing gets in the way on the cosmic couch.
You know
I love
what?
that jingle.
That jingle does not match our business lady attire that we have on today.
You know, I love it. It feels like a 90s Nickelodeon jam, like for a kid's show. I really love it.
If you're listening to us audio only, we are on a big, beautiful couch with galaxy printed upholstery. If it's video, you know, it's coming.
We're working on it. I am your friend, Claire Sinclair, and this is the first ever podcast of The Cosmic Couch. Let me introduce you to my older sister, Amethyst. Yeah, she's a fine line tattoo artist in Las Vegas. She has her own studio, Lunar Ink. And she's also the coven leader of the Witches Society of Las Vegas. She's a Virgo with a Pisces moon and a Sagittarius rising, and considers herself a manifestation witch.
Most of you probably already know Claire. She is a sparkling Gemini with a frightening Scorpio moon and a conceited Leo rising.
What a dick! I could have done that to your tribe.
You are an international pinup model, the former Playmate of the Year, former headliner of the Las Vegas show on the Strip Pinup, a themed hotel entrepreneur with the Claire B&B, and now you're bringing fantasies to life on various platforms.
Yes, that's right. I think we should start by telling them a little bit about our background. We've manifested some really crazy things in our lives, and let's bring it back to our roots with our dad and his story. Why don't you go ahead and tell that story?
All right. My dad, Mr. Tom Riccio, he was in jail. He was in prison. He stole some coins.
What?
You didn't?
I didn't know that.
Have you read our father's book?
No, because I've heard all the stories before. I never read it.
Well, he ended up in prison for that, and he wasn't feeling it, and he escaped.
Yes, he did. It was a very insane prison break. It's straight out of a movie. He plotted it for a couple months.
We got to have Dad on the show and tell the story of his prison break. He wrote a book called Busted by Tom Riccio. It's on Amazon. Highly recommended. It's a good-ass read. He escaped from prison, and we'll have him on a future episode to explain how. But while he was in there, he actually had a premonition because our dad is psychic, I guess. We have a lot of psychic energy in our family. And he had a premonition about a beautiful blonde woman. And when he saw her in his vision, she was in a warm climate. And he was locked up in prison on the East Coast and it was snowing. So he escaped. He got on a plane to California. And then, you know, he goes to Burger King and meets my mom. He just saw her there.
All these guys, my mom looked like a total... She could have been a Playmate. She could have been the cover of Sports Illustrated. She was the quintessential 80s babe. And all these guys were asking for her number. And my dad, like a weirdo, was hovering around.
Watching another blonde man get my mom's number.
And he wrote down the number as my mom was saying it, even though he hadn't been introduced to my mom yet.
So he got the number without my mom's consent. Then he calls her and she thinks it's the blonde man that she gave her number to. And he doesn't tell her that he's not him.
Scandal.
Yeah. And then he shows up and she was shocked and not pleased. That's why he had some Prince tickets in his hands. And he's like, we're going to go see Prince. And she's like, okay. So anyway, he's jaywalking one day. They run his fingerprints. They find out he's out on escape. He ends up back in jail.
Our mom waited for him to get out of prison. And just a few weeks after he got out, he wins the lottery.
Yeah, I was a little baby and you weren't even born yet. And he ended up going in and out of jail various times throughout his life.
Childhood, yeah.
And even while me and Claire were young, my mom had to raise us as a single mother on a super tight budget.
And she's already extremely frugal.
She's a Capricorn. She's really tight with her money.
Also, her parents are from the Depression era where they would literally lick the plate dry to make sure they weren't wasting any food.
Yeah.
And she came up with that mentality that there was scarcity, that you don't have a lot of abundance, that you have to hold on tight to every little thing you have and you save every penny.
Everything was budget. You know, everything was pick and save. Yeah, when my dad got out of jail, then we suddenly had another parent introduced into the
It was kind
structure.
of like for me meeting him for the first time, by the way. When he got out of jail, I was 6. And when he went to jail, I was just turning 3. I barely remembered him. So when he came out of jail, he came bearing gifts. He had like hundreds of dollars worth of toys. And when I'm meeting him for the first time, it was just like generous. And he didn't know the meaning of saving. It was just whenever he got money,
he's
spent
basically
it.
mom's opposite. So he's good at making money. It's always flowing.
And he knows that it's always possible to make money. He's never like, I'm going to be poor and I'm going to be in this mindset where I have to save and scarcity. So you have to think about your relationship with money and how your parents' relationship with money rubbed off on you. What qualities do you see from your parents that you've inherited that are negative? And you have to also think about who is surrounding you right now, and are their money habits rubbing off on you? Who do you have around you? Are they keeping you in a low frequency?
Oh, that is so important. You have to be really careful who you're spending your time with, because one of the most important quotes I've ever heard is your tribe is your vibe.
I feel like people get trapped from their family's mentality of you have to get a 9-to-5, you have to work for someone else, you have to get the secure job with the 401k, instead of thinking, hey, I could be my own boss. Find your motivators, the people that are doing exactly what you want to do, and study them, see how they went from the beginning of their career to doing what you want to do. You have to study the people that you're aspiring to and look at what they did in the trajectory of their life. And I did that with my career. I studied a few people, a few models that I really, really liked, and I used them as a blueprint, and it really helped me get to where I wanted to go. You write down the characteristics that you want to manifest or that you want to emulate from them, and how do I start acting more like my heroes?
Yeah. Keep that positive mindset. Watch what comes out of your mouth.
If someone's complaining, steer them back into a positive mind frame.
Don't agree with them.
It's easy to fall down the hole of you guys complaining and you know, kind of bonding over the complaints, but that's the worst frequency to be on.
Yes.
And you also have to know your worth. It's extremely important to realize what your service is. Don't undervalue what your worth is. You have to come up with, this is what I believe my service is worth, and never take a penny less. There will be tests where people will say, can you do it for half off? You have to ignore those tests and say, this is my fee and this is what it's worth, what your worth is.
Let them go.
I also believe in the law of attraction, all action there. You have to put forth the work. Of course, you can't just wish on a star and hope it's going to happen. You have to sit down and get really clear with what you could provide to the universe, what services will best help humanity that you could provide. And after you get really clear about that, you have to start taking strides.
And then the money will always come.
Yes, if you're brave enough to do that.
If you bet on yourself and your future, you will always win that bet.
It's just about having a journal, writing what in an ideal world, what you would be doing to be of service, to provide your talents to the world. What does that look like? And taking micro steps every day towards becoming that person. Imagine your best self, your future best self. I want you to link your self-image to that identity. There is no future you. There's only the you right now, and you're an abundant human. So
I've got some ghetto cell phone audio here.
Relax and close your eyes and get a really clear visual of what your ideal self looks like. How does she talk?
Or he.
Or he. How do they talk?
Or they.
Yes.
Yes.
What type of energy do they fill the room with? And I want you to really become that person. See yourself walking into that room and feel the emotions that you feel, the pride of becoming your best self. What does that feel like? Really feel it. I want you to visualize waking up in the morning. What's the first thing that you do?
Go pee.
What outfit are you changing into? And what's on the itinerary for the day? Think about the people you're going to meet and how they're going to impact you and lead you towards more opportunities.
Yes.
You will attract everything that you desire when you are embodying your ultimate potential. Everything will come to you and flow to you.
The feeling is going to fuel
It's
this.
everything. And pull from the emotions that you've felt before to ignite that image. Remember that feeling of pride, that feeling of achievement, and just really embody it before you start envisioning your future self, because that's how you pull it towards you so quickly. You're telling the universe, this is the lane that I want to be in. And a really wonderful way to do this, when I used to do this as a kid and it would work like magic, right before I fell asleep, I would start dreaming about what I wanted to achieve and really let my mind wander. It would lead into my dream, but I'd feel all the emotions as I was falling asleep. And you're in that weird subconscious mode.
That's a powerful mode to be in.
Super powerful. And when I would do that and I'd really get there right before I fell asleep, within a week, it was like magic, like instantly, whatever I was trying to attract. A beautiful thing to do is to fill your body with gratitude for all the things that you already do have.
Oh, yeah.
It also helps with depression. I don't know about anybody else. I have seasonal affective disorder. I've been getting a little depressed. And when I wake up and I remind myself to think of the things that I'm grateful for, it's just like I took an antidepressant.
Yeah. Be the example, lead the way.
I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to be sitting on the Cosmic Couch with you guys.
Oh, yes.
This has been a dream, years in the making. I've wanted to do a podcast with my sister. I feel extremely grateful for my dogs that bring me a lot of joy, and they're a beacon of light for me when I walk into my house, and they fill me with love, and my family and my health. Like, those are just things everyone shouldn't take for granted. You have to remember not everybody is healthy and able to walk around and trying to achieve their goals. That's something that isn't a given. So every day you're healthy, really, really give thanks for that.
I'm extremely grateful for the little things like food and water. I'm aware there's people all over the world that don't even have access.
We just had an In-N-Out feast, and we're just really lucky.
I'm grateful for my daughter. You know, she's my life. And last but not least, I'm grateful for all the people that I've attracted into my life. I finally have a good tribe, and I feel like I'm now having a good vibe. We really hope to see you on the next episode. It's called The Craigslist Chronicles, how we started out in the biz.
Craigslist ghetto modeling jobs that, I mean, it ultimately leads into how we manifested something really crazy, but it's really a trippy tale, and we hope that you join us for that and that you enjoyed the first ever episode of The Cosmic Couch.
Come sit on the
Cosmic Couch, where we'll have lots of fun. So much to hear and say.
Bye.
Nothing gets in the way
on The Cosmic Couch. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.